The last couple of weeks I've been talking to you about the Bhagavad Gita because it's one of the things about it is it was one of the most popular texts among the early Europeans who visited India. It was kind of simple and sort of straightforward, and I suppose in a way there was, there's some correspondence with their Christian background that enabled them, that resonated with them. The Bhagavad Gita is a very profound text that raises up some really powerful issues. So, a couple of weeks ago we were talking about control. How much control do we actually have? Well, since you're all working hard and getting everything that you've always wanted, we probably have a lot of control, right? The Bhagavad Gita says we have no control. None. And it further says that even this body is not really ours. After it runs out, we don't get to keep it. In fact, this body is a really interesting phenomenon. We think of it as us, but it's really actually a kind of extraordinary gathering of cells and bacteria and viruses. 10,000 times more bacteria than human cells, and maybe 10,000 times more virus than that, all of which work together to create an ecosystem that is this human body. And all of it is held together by what? While we're sitting here, trillions of nerve firings are happening from all different directions through all of our senses, and in even our skin, we are this fire of energy interacting with itself, transforming both food and, more importantly, sensory impulses into information which reorganizes us in the depth of us, and then, it impels us to act out that reorganization, which is happening constantly. Our practice tradition, is the krama. It's called the krama. The krama is ancient. It means, the krama means sequence. The actual full name of it is the Kalika krama. Kalika krama. And that is the sequence of the expression, maintenance, reabsorption, reorganization, and pure presence of that energy which is manifesting itself as this mind and this body. Actually, the krama was these were the earliest cognitive scientists. Because what the krama is really interested in is the whole process of cognition. and the transformation of our understanding of ourselves through our careful attention to that cognitive process. The thing I wanted to touch upon tonight, because teaching about the krama and their idea of cognitive process is a longer talk. The thing I wanted to focus on is when you start to really think about how little control you actually have. And what is really going on with this body and this mind and this world. Where does it all come from? What is really going on here? If we have no control, does that mean we shouldn't work at all? Is there no use in doing anything? So I wanted to say that as we think about the absence of control, I think it's really important for us to think about that. Think about it. If you have no control, what is it in you that is constantly clinging? What is it in you that is constantly grasping, that is reaching, that is holding, that is struggling to keep everything in your life together? And what happens when you just let it go? Controlling our life. That's a little like putting 5 fingers on 5 fleas, isn't it? You might, by some miracle get 4 fingers on 4 fleas, but when you reach for the 5th one with your one free finger, you're definitely going to pop a couple of those loose. And that's what our life is, constantly. But as we think about the absence of control and look into the vastness of that space within us that our struggle for control covers up. Because part of our struggle for control is that we really don't want to look at what we actually are, because it's scary. It's actually scary beautiful, but the first wave of it is scary. The unimaginable possibility present in us, will shake us right out of our family system, shake us right out of our social system, shake us right out of our culture. Totally shake the foundations of our understanding of right and wrong and bring us to a profoundly different perspective about what and who we are. And in this process of looking into that space, the challenge is not to get depressed. And it's really good for the mind and the body always to have something to do. The body loves to do. The mind needs to do. The body stays healthy. If a body which has no organizational plan, doesn't do well. That's why Protestantism, has embedded in us a very strong work ethic. Because it's healthy, and it is healthy. The trick in fusing so much of what is what we bring to this endeavor to understand ourselves from our familial and cultural background, and that we are trying to look to other cultures to get a bigger perspective on, can be resolved very successfully when we understand that, part of what facilitates the whole process of growing as a human being and understanding ourselves is beginning to act with an attitude of service and beginning to cultivate within ourselves the experience of devotion. Not devotion to a person, not devotion to, some image of what we might think is a deity, because in fact, all the art here is really, it's not about gods and religious ideas at all. All the art here is really, it is about, actually, in fact, all of this art is my own personal life story. And every piece of art in this room is a piece of art that has something to do with me in the deepest personal way. And all of the art speaks to, an ancient tradition that has looked into the essence of what it is to be a human being and says that the highest dimension of human existence, human experience, is consciousness itself, which is vital and vibrant and the essence of all phenomenon. And that highest consciousness, the highest dimension of consciousness is subjective awareness, which resides in each of us, this body being the throne upon which that supreme awareness resides. And so when we talk about service, seva, what we are talking about is understanding ourselves more deeply by making sure that the work that we do every day and every place that we do it is really an act of our connecting to ourselves and connecting to the object of our effort and participating consciously in the flow of energy that is expressed as work. Devotion, brings us back over and over and over again into that experience of connection, of contact, alignment, and flow that feels good. It feels good. That's what it feels. It feels good. And cultivating that experience of seva, of connecting, aligning ourselves in our daily lives from a place of love and growing that experience throughout growing that experience throughout the whole field of our experience transforms our whole life into an expression of an unimaginable possibility that is filled with the abundance of beauty that is our essence. And so in the Bhagavad Gita, at the end of it, Krishna says to Arjuna, look, you're going to go out here and you're going to fight this war and there's going to be blood all over the place and all your family's going to get hacked to shit. And it's just going to be a giant mangle, but don't worry because you're going to be fine. in any case, because, and so are they going to be fine in any case, because everything is really me. And those who, live a life of devotion to me, those people are preserved under every circumstance. And in this case, relinquishing our struggle for control and beginning to allow, to discover that our own creative energy, our own life has a will of its own, it has a program of its own that it is going to articulate. And aligning ourselves with that program which our life has come to this world with, and beginning to serve it, reveals a potential, a vibrancy in us, and a beauty in us that totally transforms the whole of our life, and in the process enlightens and liberates us. How cool is that? A lot of people talk about love. That's like I don't know how, I don't listen to the radio anymore. Maybe the AM radio only has Rush Limbaugh on it. I don't know. No wonder I wouldn't listen. But, when I was your age, I used to listen to the AM radio, and all the time, the only thing that was on it was love. People singing about love and love and love. Love on a surfboard, love in a hot rod, love in a little deuce coupe, love on a Honda, love under the boardwalk, and on and on. That's wonderful talk, but you look at the world, look at the news in the morning. There is so little of that walk, it is unbelievable. Because love is actually work, and it's not just, doesn't happen by accident. Well, it does happen by accident, but we've all been there. Not our best moment. Consciously connecting to our own essence. We talk about love, and one of the favorite themes on Facebook these days I see is self-love. There's a lot of talk about self-love. What is self-love? Well, if you love somebody else, what that is spending some time with them, making them a cheese sandwich and and a whatever. I guess if they're Americans over 20, you give them a bottle of beer or something. But what is it really? Isn't love making contact, spending time? Like really feeling some exchange happening? So, we want things in our lives, and we want our lives to be beautiful and rich and, uplifting and rewarding. It's completely possible, to the degree that a depth of understanding about the very essence of the universe is available to us. And the simplest thing I can tell you about, going about it, which is a message also articulated in the Bhagavad Gita, is we have to begin to live our life consciously loving every day and loving the people in our life every day no matter how much they annoy the shit out of us. We have to get that the annoyance is our shit, which we have to deal with. And we should deal with it. In order to find that contact and flow which automatically realigns us from within ourselves and realigns our hearts and minds and souls, in the space, the worldly space, the geography that we occupy, and transforms us to be a vehicle for an ever-increasing flow of love, which is beautiful, and which not only changes us, it changes everybody whose life our life touches. And, after a while, that can be a lot of people and a lot of good. It can be a lot of joy. Thinking deeply about how much control we have or don't have, and the fact that even our body is not our own, it's important for us to also, at the same time, in our daily lives, bring our best effort, bring our most conscious, connected, and loving effort to the spaces of our activity, because that is what allows for the energy that is really what we are. We're just this massive energetic connection to extend itself through our tensions and our fears into the world around us so that it can transform that world into something we can actually live in. In each of us, there is incredible, unimaginable possibility. There is profound beauty. There is infinite abundance. There is more than enough. But we have to excavate it. What the sacred moment that we have shared, that we share together regularly, that we've shared together tonight, is the highest demonstration in the ancient world of this extraordinary process of self-transformation. Thanks for joining me in it. Namaste.